Much like this guy, I've always wanted to see the Taj Mahal. So you can imagine my anticipation on the day. We travelled all the way to Agra just to see it, and I couldn't help but wonder if it would live up to expectation or be a damp chapati. It was everything I hoped it would be.
Chapter 2 of our Sure Travel Indian quest was straight out of the pages of the epic Hindu poem the Mahabharata, which refers to this area as the border of the forest.
The Taj Mahal draws tourists like moths to a flame, and most tackle it as a day trip to Delhi. But if you do that, you run the risk of missing out on the legacy that the great Mughal emperors left behind in this amazing city of Agra.
To walk in any direction here is to time travel, and in this case it was back to the birth of the palace they call Fatehpur Sikri. Fateh means victory, and the victory was the birth to the Emperor Akbar of a healthy son after he'd previously lost twins. To honor the saint who'd predicted this good fortune, Akbar built this royal city in Sikri, the saint's little hometown, and turned it into an emperor's idea of a little hometown.
Sonny, take us back 450 years to what would happen around this public pool back then.
This was first used for washing the clothes of the royal family. Second activity was in summers, This was an area where the locals come and get relief from the scorching heat.
Today, you'd have to be paid to jump in. And in fact, these guys are paid to do just that, having built up a healthy resistance to whatever's in that less than ideal water. At summer highs of 48 degrees here in the palace, you'd be forgiven for giving dodgy water a second glance.
History recalls that the city was abandoned for a scarcity of water, but that's not really the case, is it?
The main reason was that in order to consolidate his northwestern frontier, that was Lahore, he moves to Lahore because Afghanis were invading Lahore from time to time. So that was the main motto and reason to there. And there he built his third capital.
While the emperor never learned to read or write himself, the city flourished on his love of literature, architecture, and the arts.
Akbar ruled for 50 years without revolt or mutiny, some say because of his philosophy of unity. He went to great lengths to bring together and recognize all the major religions of the world, and in so doing ensured a peaceful life here on earth, and obviously hedged his bets for the life hereafter.
He even added to the established faiths, and one of the buildings reflects the new all-inclusive religion Akbar founded. The faith proved quite short-lived, but the mystic architecture survives. Generations on, it's inspired this Moorish Mughal blend of pavilions, terraced lawns, and reflection pools.
Ranked amongst the top 10 hotels in the world, the Oberoi Amar Villas is located just 600 meters from the greatest monument to love, the Taj Mahal. Its classical design is a tribute to the legacy of Moorish and Mughal architecture, but it is the awe-inspiring vistas of this exquisite mausoleum that draws people here time and again.
This is the land where yoga was born, but after a day's royal palacing, even yoga seemed like an extreme sport. So the doctor tested what a 5,000-year history of health and healing can do.
In 2002, the Taj literally had its own facial. Over the years, pollution had discolored the monument, and so using a combination of lime, of cereal, and of milk, a formula traditionally used by Indian women for facials, the Taj was restored to its original beauty and brilliance. Next year, apparently, it's going to have a back scrub.
The 1600s saw the Mughal Empire at the zenith of prosperity. And as a glimpse of what life at the top might have been like around then, Michael had scored a penthouse suite, which went way beyond the presidential.
So this is the Kohinoor Suite, named after the largest diamond in India that once belonged to Shah Jahan and is now owned by Queen Elizabeth. It is the crown jewel of the hotel and is quite simply magnificent and opulent. I'm sorry, I've just lost my train of thought, but I guess you can't help that if you have a view of the Taj Mahal from your room. A view best appreciated early in the mornings and close up. It's best I get an early night. Question is, which room?
While he sent the crew on a marathon tour of the suite, off-camera, Michael took advantage of the 24-hour in-room dining with an order from Esbahan, the hotel's famed Indian restaurant. Next morning, the real reason we were here. The loss of Emperor Shah Jahan's beloved third wife in childbirth saw him pour all his grief into a monument to their love.
Shortly after construction was completed, Shah Jahan was overthrown by his son and put under house arrest for the rest of his life, only able to appreciate the Taj through a small window, until the day he died and was reunited with his beloved as he was buried in the middle of the mausoleum.
Since no video cameras are allowed up close, Michael took time capturing the details in stills. The perfect marble Persian dome, the 40-meter-high minarets on all four corners, all specific religious influences, and yet the monument is seen as everyone's and no one's.
How has the Taj survived 400 years of wars and conflict?
Every dynasty and clan who ruled over India, who invaded this part, they had a great respect. They also recognize it as a beautiful place, as a devotion of love, rather than being a monument. So it's never been devastated or vandalized. No vandalism by any of the rulers. Even the British did a lot for this, to restore and protect it.
In the Second World War, from the impersonal distance of a bomber overhead, it was just another target.
The British drove those loops into the dome of the Taj, and they used that to secure a canvas or a canopy to camouflage it from Japanese bombers. They put bushes on top of it, and that's the way the Taj survived the Second World War. And these are just amazing, and these treasures. That's, oh, whoa, that's embarrassing. That just, wow, look at the Taj.
In the words of its creator, Emperor Shah Jahan, the sight of this mansion creates sorrowing sighs, and the sun and the moon shed tears from their eyes. Short Travel puts you in the picture this week. Make memories that last a lifetime with holiday packages from Sure Travel. Details on the website and in Top Billing magazine.
Top Billing.